Now, after Apple, after NeXT, how do you think of yourself?
You know, the things that I've done in my life, I think the things we do now at Pixar, these are team sports. You know, they're not something that one person does. We've got, you have to have an extraordinary team because you're trying to climb a mountain with a whole party of people. A lot of stuff to bring up the mountain. So one person can't do it. And I first got involved in this when I heard about this incredible group of computer graphics specialists that George Lucas had assembled at Lucasfilm that he wanted to sell. And so I went up there and saw what they were doing, and I met the leader of this group, Dr. Ed Catmull. And Ed told me about his dream, which was to make the first computer animated feature film someday, and showed me what this team was working on. And I was blown away. I spent a lot of time in computer graphics with the Macintosh and the Laser Writer and stuff, but this was way beyond anything I'd seen. And so I bought into that dream, both spiritually, if you will, and financially, and we bought the computer division from George and incorporated it as Pixar. John was there from the very start, Ed was there, and we were joined by other people along the way. And it took us 10 years to do it. But
what was so hard?
Oh, there were... It took us a long time to build the technical foundation to do this stuff. We were pioneering every step of the way. Pixar invented all this stuff. But as John says, we don't view ourselves as a technology company. Our product is content. We're an entertainment company. And all this technology really is just in the service of the storytelling, the service of the creative people. And computer animation is even a little bit of a misnomer. The computers don't do the animation. They do the drawing. And they crank on these drawings for, like, 3 hours by one of the fastest computers in the world, which is why the drawings are three-dimensional. But the animators act. You know, I've watched John and his team work, and they are the heart and soul of the characters. They do all the acting, not the computers. We're about putting stories into the culture. That's what we're about, telling stories. One of the things, this stuff's really hard. It takes us 4 years to make these films, and we'll get them out more frequently by overlapping them, but 4 years is a pretty big investment in these things. But when it works, it can be phenomenal. You know, Snow White is 60 years old. Who do you know that hasn't seen Snow White? I know people on most continents, and I don't think I know one person that hasn't seen Snow White. So the ability for these things to live for 60 or even 100 years is amazing, and that's very different than the technology world that I've come from. You know, most of the technology products we do, Apple IIs, Macintoshes, you name it, they tend
obsolete in 18 months and it's shrinking to 6 months fast.
You're lucky if they live 10 to 15 years. I mean, it's very rare exception. So, and then they become sort of part of the sediment layer for things to build upon. These things can live for 100 years. And so it's very different. And we're not competing against, a Microsoft or another company. We're competing against, can we make a great film that people love? That's what we compete against. I think a lot of people thought we were a technology company. And we maybe didn't do a good enough job explaining to people, no, we're an entertainment company. We're not a quarter-to-quarter earnings company. We're building assets that are sort of annuities into the future. And so I think people are slowly coming around to that, understanding how difficult this is to do. You know, since Snow White was released in 1928, which was the first animated feature film ever, 60 years ago, every major studio has tried to break into this business. And until last December, Disney was the only studio that had ever made a feature animated film that was a blockbuster, $100 million or more in domestic box office. And last December, Pixar became the second studio in history to do that. So it's a very, very rarefied ability to make these products. And I think Pixar is really able to do this quite well. You know, we love working with Disney. It's a fantastic partnership. So, who knows? Maybe we'll put something together to keep making films with them. It's sort of ancient history to me right now. I don't really think about this stuff anymore. And Apple and Microsoft duke it out, and Netscape and Microsoft duke it out. And to me, it's a spectator sport at this point.
Do you care about it? Do you have any interest in it? Does the ideas does the internet mean anything to you?
Sure, the internet's great. I mean, I look at it.
Do you use it? Do you care about it?
I use it every day, and I do care about it, and I think it's phenomenal what's happening. The internet is clearly the most exciting thing in the computer business. But right now, I look at the computer business mostly as a consumer at Pixar. You know, because we are one of the largest consumers of computing in the world. And we use it to make our film. He educated me that what we are really about is storytelling.
He didn't use the word educate, Steve. He said brainwash.
And it's been 10 years.
Educate's better, isn't it?
It's been 10 years.
Yeah.
So
when the day that stock went public, because it'd been 10 years.
Pixar stock.
Yeah, Pixar. Because you'd put, I don't know, whatever, 50, 100, how much of your own money did you put into it at the beginning?
A little over 50 million.
50 million. All of a sudden, because it's the way to take notice, not because you needed $1 billion, all of a sudden, after 10 years, there was a recognition by the marketplace that this had been a wise, fruitful, productive fruition. Yeah, am I going to come back and interview you in 5 years and find out you're in some other business and you're not in the entertainment business, you found some other well to go fishing?
You know, I tend to stay where I start until somebody kicks me out.
Thank you for coming. Great to have you here. Thank you very much, Steve. Thanks, John.